Libraries are full of ideas, perhaps the most dangerous and powerful of all weapons. This quote from Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas perfectly describes my love for reading and my passion for libraries, bookstores, and anything book-related. Hello, fellow book lovers. My name is Marlees, I'm 15 years old, and I live on the Sunshine Coast, Queensland. I'm an only child and have fond memories of playing Uno with my teddy bears. I don't have a typical teenage girl's lifestyle, hanging out with friends, buying new clothes, and being on social media way too much. I spend all my available time reading. When I'm not reading, I'm usually watching Netflix, cooking, eating, or sleeping. As I said before, I don't have your typical life. Question 1. Where do I get my recommendations from? I get my book recommendations from my friends, librarians at school, Goodreads, and this great website called What Should I Read Next? I'm that friend that tells everyone what to read, and it's sometimes hard to find books that my friends and I both like, as we like completely different things. The librarians at my school are fabulous souls because they always get new books in like every month, and I'm one of the first people to get to see them and be like, that one's mine and I'll have that one, thank you very much. So they're great, and I can get ones in because they'll order it for me because I'm special. And Goodreads is great, not for recommendations necessarily, but just it's easy to keep what you want to read and what you're reading and what you've read. And this website called whatshouldireadnext.com is great. You know when you've had a book hangover and you've finished a book and you just can't start another because you keep thinking about that one? What Should I Read Next is great because you type in the book that you've read and it pops up all these books that are similar to that and it has the same ideas and it's really great. Question 2. A book that's made me cry. A book that has made me cry without a doubt would have to be The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Look at this perfection. The ending killed me, honestly. Without spoilers, I could not deal with that ending. I just sat on the floor and cried, and I loved that book so much, but I cried. I get very emotionally attached to books and their characters, so when something happens to them, I just fall apart. Jeez, it's pathetic, really. Another book that made me cry is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. It's a beautiful mess. I really loved the story in that one, how everything turned out, and it's great, but that ending, the endings. A book that made me laugh would have to be The Learning Curves of Vanessa Partridge, because, it was great. The story itself, it wasn't that great, although the first chapters were. I was just laughing on the floor, I could not deal with it. It was beautiful. Then the rest of the book sort of slowly decreased. It didn't actually turn out that good, but it made me laugh. Okay. Another question of an author I'd most like to meet would have to be Sarah J. Maas. She's a queen, mate. And my favourite all-time author. I don't know any other writers that just write like her. Her characters are so good, and the plot twists, and the love life, love is realistic in that, which I love. Thank you very much. She's the best young adult fantasy author I know, and I would just love to meet her, because just be able to gush about her books with her, what's happening, why did you do that, how did you do that? I love her books, okay? Favourite author? If you need a book, read it. Read it and read it. Please. Throne of Glass, Akotar, anything by her is the best books I've ever read. Please read it. She recently did a tour and came down to Australia, US author. And she went to Melbourne, Sydney, and Auckland in New Zealand. I flew down to Melbourne and I saw her, and it was so worth it. She was so natural, and she was an author, and she said she got attached to her characters as well, and when they did things it was just hurt her, and I loved that. And she said her characters were a separate part of her, she had to let them do stuff. It was amazing to think like that. And I didn't get to meet her, even though I'd love to meet her, because there was only 50 lucky draw raffle prizes who got to meet her out of 700 at the theatre. And I was really sad because I bought a new outfit and I had to make a new book sleeve, which was really challenging because I can't sew, but I love it. It's a beautiful book sleeve, so worth it. But yeah, I'd love to meet her just to talk about that much and how she did everything, and beautiful. My favourite book to film adaptation would have to be Harry Potter. It's an oldie but a goodie. I loved Harry Potter when I was a child, honestly. It was just what got me into reading in the first place. I was obsessed with it for a few years and I loved it. And I think the movies really portray and like how well the book is, because they stayed close to the plot, which not many books to movies do. Like, they generally ignore the plot or the characters or just have a few errors, but I think those movies were darn close to the book and I loved it. On a quiz show, what would my special subject be? I think it would be food, because I love cooking, but eating's a lot better. Or it'd either be knowledge about Sarah J. Maas, because she is my favourite author, and if you need a book, read it. If you need a book with good female roles, magic, and realistic love, read her series, please. And I know too much about her, so that would just work beautifully. And here is my shelfie. Those two shelves are just full of stuff. That middle one's I've read. Those two shelves that are yet to be read. And that last one is I've read. Then spin round, don't mind the pony. These three little cubes on the wall are all to be read, and spin across. And all these 3 cubes are to be read as well. So as you can see, I have a lot to read and I'll get there one day.